Hey, welcome to the show. Welcome to the Council on Future Conflict, episode 559. We're talking the trans death cult and England resists. Specifically, England resists, but we'll get into that later. I know, Joe, you guys, I was able to make it on Wednesday, but you guys talked a little bit about the UK stuff. Specifically, I know that the thumbnail referenced that Scottish gal. So I wish I could have been here for that one.
Do not refer to Maya, Queen of the Scots, as that Scottish gal.
Hey, man, she's my hero of the week, man.
Well, as long as we're there, did you guys see that story got yet again darker?
No, I haven't.
There was a lot more to the story that wasn't in the video the guy shared. Ironically, he edited out the worst parts.
Yeah.
Well, there's that, and then there's another one. Hey, there are 7 to 8 different local newspaper clippings that have now come out stating that, hey, guess what? The two sisters had been reported missing 3 weeks prior to this. They were in the same clothes they were reported missing in, and the person who is filming them and running after them is known for being a pimp online.
Well. Well, maybe she should have just used that axe.
Totally justified if
It's justified either way. Hey, Blake Pardo, I don't know how you could always be chatting, but just can't be in here. I know he put that out there. I don't know who's worse about that, you or Ron. By the way, I hope everyone saw the photo of Ron.
Let's pull that up first. I as much as I'd love to just chit chat, I take full responsibility for the show starting late. At first, I was going to blame Watcher, but at the last minute, I changed the thumbnail. Here's Ron getting sworn in. Let's see. I have to blow it up so I can read it here. This is Ron's post. Yesterday, I was sworn in as the new Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Strategic Readiness by, let's see, somebody. I don't know, Honorable Tata. It's the greatest honor of my life to serve in this nation once again under the strong leadership of the SecDef and the POTUS. This is a once-in-a-lifetime administration. I'm extremely thankful for this opportunity, excited to help deliver the President First agenda to help achieve peace through strength in the world. Guys, I mean, Joe, I think I speak for all of us when I say that while we generally support the president, we are also critics of his. It's kind of like, I think we call balls and strikes, right? No, we don't all always agree on the balls and the strikes, but as we see them, right? But the thing is, man, is like he's the only game in town. You know what I mean? It's like, and despite the criticism we have, I mean, even the DOJ, right? We've been really critical of the DOJ, Kash Patel, Pam Bondi. They're still doing way more than the DOJ has done probably in the last 15 years. But then again, that's not saying much. I mean, let's be honest. All right. There was another thing I wanted to share. Joe, this is something that you've kind of been working on. And I won't say this is a sponsor of the channel, but it's definitely something we want to support. Support businesses that do the thing that you like. American Beef for Americans who know how to U-turn. They're basically taking the Watson Watch approach to marketing on X, and I'm here for it. If you hit on their account, Watcher, and go and show the more recent.
The one with what's his name?
There we go, Patrick Swayze. I'm calling ICE on every single non-American cow.
Yeah.
Just check out Farmer Bill's Meat Snacks. They're doing awesome things. I can't wait to try them out. And if you buy anything off of their website, code CFC. What is it? Code CFC?
Yeah, if you use code CFC, you'll get 20% off. and they're making Biltong right here in the U.S., and it's pretty outstanding stuff. So get right on it.
You can literally eat a cow and use its power to fuel your battles against America's enemies. I love it. I love it. I'm here for it.
Yeah, I first came across them when they were part of the destruction of the Beyond Meat, and they commented on how happy they were to have been involved in it. And I was like, you know what? Let's support these guys. Good people.
Steve J says, Scott, your colleagues did good job in your absence. Yeah, I was really proud of them. I haven't had a chance to watch all of the shows, but I caught little pieces of each one, and I was very happy with what I heard. And you guys were pretty fire on Wednesday. I'm just saying. So Blaine is in the chat because he's not feeling well. He says no test, but my daughter is an RN, infectious disease, and she told me it's COVID. Yeah, fucking COVID sucks, man. I mean, it is a thing. I mean, COVID's not fake; it is a thing. But that being said, it wasn't the thing that it should have been. Anything else, gentlemen, or we can jump right into to our odds and ends.
I'm ready when you are.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah, let's dive in.
All right. So I don't know if you guys have been paying much attention to, there's been so much interesting stuff going on in the domestic and in the UK front this week. I'll be honest with you, like 90% of the content that I've listened to or consumed on X was related in some form to either Trantifa, the trans death cult, or the stuff going on in UK. But
that plus toss in a piece of shit MMA guy trying to murder a pro wrestler on stage.
Yeah,
that's been my week.
I don't know how that's news. It happens every day. That guy just happened to do it in front of people. So it happens in Chicago literally every day, and I don't understand why anybody cares about it more than we care about any of these other fucking dirtbags that do it. That's the sad thing, right? It's like if somebody's famous,
Well, for me, it's because, hey, man, if this can't be prosecuted when it happens on camera, including the premeditation being said into the fucking camera, then this is kind of like my last hope for society sort of thing. Like, hey, y'all are going to take care of this, right?
Well, Watcher, you've been posting that meme, your most posted meme. I thought about using. That was my first thought about using as a thumbnail for today. I'm pulling it up. It's only going to get worse meme. I'm sorry that you're just now losing hope, because I lost hope a long time ago. Now it's just a matter of watching the world fall apart and figure out what the timeline looks like. Yeah, hey friends, listen, I know the world is scary right now, but it's going to get way worse. Yep.
It is.
Exactly right. Anyway, so just thought I'd catch you guys up. So Israel has basically done exactly what we've kind of said that they would do. Israel carries out landing operation near Damascus, more airstrikes. Israel carried out a series of airstrikes as well as landing operations in Syria Wednesday night, coinciding with ongoing negotiations for a security deal between Tel Aviv and Damascus. The attack in Damascus last night proves the proper balance of power between us and Syria, says the Israeli News Telegram channel reported on Thursday. Every time Israel sees that there's a weapon or some kind of capability in Syria that can threaten, we will act immediately. This should be noted that there are agreements. Israel will not be able to do this. If there are agreements, Israel will not be able to do this. It is a weak step in the Middle East to seek an agreement because an agreement is protection until it strengthens. Israel is the strong side here, and therefore freedom of action should be preserved. It is advisable that Israel maintain freedom of action. So this is a very interesting situation, Joe, because on one hand, I'm like, listen, if Israel thinks they need to do that in order to secure their liberty and to secure their borders and to secure their country, then they should do whatever it is they think that they should do. That being said, I very much read this as a might makes right kind of argument. And just because they can do it doesn't mean they should do it, because, this is how you get, 25 years of pissed off neighbors that potentially could turn into something, 15 years down the road, especially after an Israeli liberal party comes in after Bibi Netanyahu, and they say, "Oh, well, we're not gonna hit the Syrians anymore. We're not gonna trim the grass," like they stopped doing.
Is that what they're doing?
Years between 2006. Well, they kind of are. And let's be honest. They are getting ready. They are basically seizing a giant security zone in southwestern to include that mountaintop that they have said that they are going to retain indefinitely. And so this is not something like, it's not a raid into Syria. This is an occupation, a new occupation zone in southwestern Syria.
I was just going to ask if they said what the targets were. I always find it, I don't know, call me suspicious, but recently every time I've seen a thing that just mentions that a strike happened but then doesn't mention what the target of the strike was, it always makes my spider sense.
No, see, that's just it. I feel like Israel's making legitimate hits, right? And so I'm not criticizing Israel for that, but you know me, guys. I'm not one to be a real big fan of heavy-handed. Like, it's like once you use military power, you kind of pull back, And so there is a kind of a balancing act, I think. There.
While I agree with you, that's why I was curious what the targets were, because like my thought was like, okay, let's say Mexico finally does like actually collapse, right? Like any semblance of government's gone. New governments are trying to reestablish themselves. The cartels have started open combat on the streets against each other, right? I'm pretty sure that we would take steps to either secure or destroy multiple different pieces of Mexican military assets to ensure that they couldn't be used against us in the tumult.
Yeah, I mean, no, I think you're right, but that's just one of those kind of things. Like, where do you stop? And I guess they haven't got to where you stop yet. I'm just asking what that point is, and
Look, there's historical precedent for this, because in the second G.I. Joe movie, they struck Pakistan to secure the nuclear weapons. What?
Real quick, Scott, do you want that right now, or?
Yeah. Just go ahead and put this up. This is some video. We can just keep talking over it. This is the Mount Hermon near that they basically taken the highest peak on this mountain overlooking. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Joe.
I was going to say, when they said a landing operation, do they mean from the sea or from the air?
That was my other thought too. Like, wait, hold on.
I mean, generally, landing would denote from the sea.
I think they use it in the HLZ or helicopter landing zone kind of context, because you do a landing operation with air assault. So here you can see the actual border. So there you got Damascus up in the upper right in this map. And then you've got essentially this border zone that they've decided to kind of carve out between Syria. And Joe, this is exactly what I said. I predicted that they would just push out past the Golan Heights and essentially establish a security zone, pushing out there. I'm just looking at this kind of.
So this is where the video was shot, everybody.
Yeah, the top of this mountain right there. So if you go down, there's more pictures and stuff. Actually, the third one has got that. So you can see Mount Hermon and then Mount Hermon, Syria. So this is looking at it from Israel. It says in the past, Israel's radar suffered from the significant blind spot, unable to see beyond Mount Hermon.
Some might call that dead space.
That's right. That's right. So they basically we eliminated the dead space. So seize the high ground, Joe. That's when you have the opportunity, you seize the high ground.
Take the high ground.
If only the French knew that at Dien Bien Phu.
Yeah, that would have actually saved their salt.
You got to give it to me. You got to give me on that one. That's a deep cut right there.
That was a deep cut. That is the deep lore. That in the Viet Minh days. No.
All right. Anything else on this you guys want to talk about? I just thought this was pretty interesting.
I want to give them props. Go back to that photo again.
Yeah, I was waiting.
Putting the chains on in the Star of David pattern. That's pretty.
Pretty
legit.
that took somebody some time to figure that out in a squad base somewhere, and I kind of appreciate that.
That's is that how you secretly signal to your fellow Jewish insurgents?
So
in the
what people
apocalypse?
don't know about this. So in Montana, chains are legal, and people have chains in their tires all winter. And it just makes this random rattling noise on the drive. These ones play Nagila Hava as you drive down the road. So it's pretty good. Come on, that was a good joke. And we lost.
That was good. That was good. Joe, can you guys do the studs in the
you can do studs in tires. Yeah.
Yeah. I've heard those are pretty effective.
Yeah, Father Abraham suggested that to me right after I almost died on Logan Pass. He's like, "What? You don't have studded tires?" I'm like, "No, I just moved here."
Yeah. All right. Let's move on, shall we? So this is not the only Israel-related news that we have.
Documentaries of the early 21st century. Yes, I am. G.I. Joe Retaliation. It's future history.
Future history. So this is not the only Israel-related news in the odds and ends today. Israel attempts decapitation strikes of top Houthi leadership in Yemen. It was an operation widely described in the Israeli media as an IDF's military's most significant strike against the Houthis to date. According to Israeli media citing anonymous security sources, intelligence indicated that 10 senior Houthi officials, including the group's defense minister, had gathered near Sana'a to attend a speech by a Houthi leader, Abdul Malik al-Houthi. Although none of this can be definitively confirmed, the Israeli Air Force reportedly conducted an airstrike aimed at that assembly, resulting in huge explosions and fireballs erupting near the presidential compound in southern Sana'a building. What remains?
You know why it can't be confirmed? Because apparently everyone who could have been an eyewitness got smoked. Anyway.
So yeah, let's play this video right here, Watcher, because this is. I mean, you couldn't get an explosion like this out of a Bay movie. I mean, that thing is that's a gasoline explosion, is what that is right there.
Yeah, that's a pretty legit.
Or it's a rocket fuel explosion.
Yeah.
I think gasoline though. Let's see here. What remains unknown is likely go unconfirmed for days or more is which high-ranking Houthi officials were actually present. No, Joe, it's going to be like, what's his name from Hezbollah? Oh, no, he's still alive.
Yeah, he's fine.
Oh, no, in fact, he's dead. Let's see. Israeli Defense Minister Katz, soon after attack was complete, stated, "As we warned the Houthis in Yemen, after plague of darkness comes plague of the firstborn." Ooh, he's getting biblical on them. In reference to the biblical 10 plagues of Egypt. His words suggest that some amongst the Houthis' top leadership were taken out. Israel's military, in a follow-up, said the IDF is acting forcefully against the Houthi terror regime alongside intensified operations against Hamas in Gaza. It will continue to act to eliminate all threats to Israeli civilians. And so there's a lot more video there below in the from a lot of different angles. Further down in the same thread there. Wow.
No, Watcher, we cannot.
We can't hear you if Mexico had any military assets. And most of them are under the control of the cartel. Good Lord, man.
That was quite the explosion.
That's the kind of explosion I imagine you like. Even from where that guy's filming, you could probably feel the heat from that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely some sort of a fuel storage facility or something.
Wow.
All right. So yes, not a good day to be a leader of the Houthis. Now, Joe, here's when you hit a target like this, it's actually, and it's so not only are you looking to take out key leaders and things like that, but from a SIGINT standpoint, you create a lot of chatter when a big target is hit like this. So you're able to really collect on the yeah, we got you, Watcher. You're really able to collect on the enemy in the moments after a big hit like this, especially the first 24 hours.
I think if you put Mr. K's last comment up on the screen, it explains what actually happened.
While we're doing that, what I was trying to point out is this is really actually like I don't usually do this, but as far as cinematography goes, look at that. The pool in front of it reflecting the explosion. That's cool.
Like I said, it's a Michael Bay level kind of experience.
I would challenge too that if that building was any closer to that blast, you probably would have seen that glass coming in at them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, there's something burning very energetically underneath that. I'm seeing 33 targets hit.
Here's the thing, too. When targets at that level all gather, there's going to be a lot of low-level radio traffic between their protection details. That's really easy. That there are X number of security details in the same place. So,
or you get the lower level leaders talking about like, oh hey, Joe was blown up. What are we gonna do? I don't know. Mike was there too. And that kind of crosstalk.
Yeah.
Frank wasn't at the meeting, but he's at this place, so he's safe. It's like, oh great, now we know where Frank is.
I have to say it only because it's required. Squishy Hunter asks, "Is this Djibouti after the first Taco Bell opened?"
That's what when I saw the comment, I knew you were going to want to.
We're about to move on, and I just have to say that as I have now been able to review all the notes, I am just disappointed that this didn't begin with a hunt for this next section didn't begin with a hunt for Red October clip.
I mean, legit, the hunt for Red October is on right now. Rumor has it the captain's name is Ramius.
Fire on the flight deck.
This business will get out of control. It'll get out of control, and we'll be lucky to live through it.
Fire on the flight deck. Fire on the flight deck. All hands.
And if you wonder why we're playing this, essentially they have decided to do a
live action remake.
Basically there's a Russian submarine that's LARPing as Remius right now up in the Norwegian Sea. Yeah, so large-scale NATO military operation is underway searching for a Russian submarine believed to have threatened the U.S. aircraft carrier Gerald R. Ford in the Norwegian Sea. Norwegian, U.S., and British forces are involved in the operation. Seems like something serious has occurred, but we await more details. Joe, I hate to say it, but I am all for a return to like Cold War level kind of taking this business of naval warfare seriously. Because our Navy,
as Captain Marco Ramius himself said, continue our old game of cat and mouse with the United States Navy. Yes, I'm all for
our Navy was really good back in the 80s. Like they had a fresh infusion of cash in the early 80s, and the op tempo and the actual missions were real world missions. Patrols looking for Russian subs And you're right. It was the cat and mouse game that both sides played, and it made them very sharp. And so,
I do have to say this does spur me to think about a post that I saw just yesterday. It was like, man from World War II is transported to the future. I start talking to him about the size of our capital ships and all of their capabilities and such. And then he asks me about how big the guns are, and I begin weeping.
Yeah, right? Yeah, we got rid of them. How big are the battleships now? We don't have any. We have none.
Yeah, but let me ask you. Let me ask you this: if you were 200 miles away from going head to head, would you rather be on a New Jersey class battleship or Iowa class, whatever it was, or would you rather be on a one of our current destroyers?
Well, that depends. How late into the war and depleted are our supply chains?
Yeah, it was
no.
Iowa class.
It's 1v1 full magazines for both ships.
Well, again, so what you're talking about is the scenario that will happen in the first 5 or 6 hours of the war?
It is Watcher. This is a World War II battleship that doesn't even exist in reality anymore versus a current. It's not even a
Iowa
question.
Class existed up until the late 80s.
Well,
No. They still exist, but my point
your
is
point is that they dropped off a design thing. We're saying they should have continued to make new ones and better ones.
I mean, look, the closest thing to a battleship anyone
with
had in any Navy right now was the Makva, and it retained the best of both worlds, right? It was a guided missile cruiser that retained large caliber deck guns. So
recommission the Mighty Mo just for the hell of it. Like, I'll be honest with you, I love the scene from what was it? What was the name of the movie? Was it Battleship? The aliens versus the
Battleship.
Yeah. I thought that was so great. Like, it was because they had the old World War II guys, or they weren't even World War II guys. They were like late, like Korea War, Vietnam era guys that were in there. Because the New Jersey, the Iowa, and the Missouri all served into like at least the late 70s, early 80s. And actually, what was it? Which one was it that fired in anger during the Iraq invasion?
The Iowa, the Missouri fired.
The Iowa?
The Missouri fired on Lebanon, on the Golan Heights.
I thought that was the New Jersey. Or New Jersey may have fired in Vietnam.
Yeah.
But anyway, the point is they maintained those ships and modernized them up through those eras, and so that was just I don't know. Anyway, the point is that, like, I agree with you guys. I think that like, this is a guy who went to public school. He has a degree in art. And he was a fucking infantry officer. So what the hell do I know about naval warfare?
Like a true Marine sergeant, brother. Naval guns are the real king of battle artillery, baby.
Hey, by the way, did you guys see that the first?
I don't know. It's the
first
Navy,
Marine became the commandant of the Naval Academy?
I did. I thought that was
it's about time.
fitting. Yeah.
I was really surprised it's the first one, because almost most of your Marine officers, I think that's the single largest commissioning source, isn't it? The Naval Academy.
I believe so.
Yeah, and I think that it's that they'll get a lot more discipline that way.
Yeah,
Marines kind of thrive on that.
I wonder if that isn't
it's beautiful.
A product.
It barely survived the battle of Steven Seagal versus Gary Busey. Well done. That was actually a pretty well done movie, better than the second one. Under Siege was actually fairly good. That was before Steven Seagal went way overboard. So.
No, well, that was back when it's like, well, Hollywood's like, well, what do we do next? How about Die Hard on a boat?
Yeah,
you know, it was always like Die Hard and this and Die Hard on that.
Now, before we move on, I hate to do this, but I do have to correct one point, Joe. It's the Navy, so it's definitively the Queens of Battle.
Yes, it would be the Queen of Battle.
The Queens of Battle. Oh boy. All right. That's enough of that. Joe, you want to talk a little bit about tactical-wisdom.com?
Yeah, we've got a few guys here for the combatives class that's going on this weekend. Good times and good stuff. We're going to be wrestling around a little bit today, doing some good things. Then next weekend we're doing some one-day classes. One on building your get-home bag and how to use it and make a plan. Then that Sunday we're doing one that's going to be pretty well received, I think, and it's Baofeng Basics, how to actually do everything with the Baofeng radio and program it and get it ready. I've got a lot of locals interested in coming to that. The following weekend we do mountain survival because we are here in the mountains. We might as well do that class, right? I tell you, as a 19-year-old, I went to the Mountain Warfare Training School in Bridgeport, California, as a cocky young kid from Michigan who said, "There's no weather in California that can beat Michigan winter." I was very, very, very wrong. And I was humbled by my experience clinging to a mountainside in Bridgeport. But I want to bring those skills out to these people. And then the 2 weekends after that, we're running Fieldcraft and Community Security Ops. And then I've got a little bit of a gap until I get out to NC Scouts Place. And I will be at Mountain Readiness, whatever that weekend is. Hold on, in October. Let's see. It is October 17th through the 19th. I'll be at Mountain Readiness. I'll have a booth there. I'm going to be doing a land navigation essentials class as part of the event. I'll also be hosting the Sunday morning chapel service at Mountain Readiness in North Carolina. Then the 21st to the 23rd, I've got a Fieldcraft class that is filling up quickly. It's my last class on the East Coast for the year. So if you want to get in on that, get there, take the class. We got a lot going on there. And then right after that, the 24th through the 26th, we're doing a scout course at NC Scouts Place. And the 27th through the 29th, we'll be doing the recce course. And Robert T., the founder of Mountain Readiness, is going to be a student in the recce course. I have already informed him he will die at night by bayonet. So it's going to be a good time. You don't want to miss out on that. Come and do it. The weekend in between there, though, I want to mention that October 4th and 5th, and I know some of our fans are going to come and volunteer. We are doing October 4th and 5th in Libby, Montana. We're doing a stand down where we're handing out cold weather gear, tents, sleeping bags, and things like that to homeless veterans in Northwest Montana. I know that Reverend Hazmat likes to come out and volunteer. If anybody else would like to join us, let me know. Last year we served over 500 veterans. We give them lunch. We give them run them through the VA healthcare and a bunch of other service providers, so they get a chance to be seen by a doctor or any services they want. Nothing is forced on them, whatever they choose, and then they can go through the line and get some surplus gear, clothing, and cold weather gear to get through the cold winters up here. So good times. If you want to support us, go to veteranscampponderosa.org and click donate.
There we go.
And whatever that was.
There's applause for your yeah.
Apparently, StreamYards is built in a soundboard.
Exactly. There's all this soundboard. I was just kind of going through. I just discovered this actually, and I was just kind of going through, and I felt like that one might, there's stuff like that, and you have this.
Hey, Gene Rogers, you're wrong for that. You are wrong for that. It's funny, but you are wrong for that.
All right. So let me get on. Let me pull up. Okay. All right. Here we go. Brush meter ad for today. All right. Tonight we're exposing the trans death cult attack shaking the world. Well, at least America, and the brave people of England resisting an immigrant invasion. From bizarre cult violence to street standing firm, it's time to gear up and gear up not with just stuff, but with skills. Enter our sponsor, Brush Beater Store, led by NC Scout, with training to outlast the madness. When cults strike or borders blur, Brush Beater's RTO course keeps you connected in a secure comms to outmaneuver chaos, whether it's a cult ambush or a resistance rally. Step up with the advanced RTO course, mastering digital intel and electric warfare to stay ahead of the shadowy threats. And for survival in the fray, the tactical combat casualty care course teaches you to treat wounds fast, ready for anything from cult attacks or to street standoffs. Head to Brushbeater's Yanceyville, North Carolina training ground to get ready or check brushbeater.store/collection/training. Use code CFC10 for 5% off courses, radios, or gear. Orders over $100 ship free. Big thanks to Matt at Brushbeater Store for powering this council and future conflict. Visit brushbeater.store, enter a CFC10, and train to hold the line. All right, now back to it. Hey, real quick, I want to talk about
play this video with audio.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Told me that this was L3. I would not argue it one bit.
Yeah. So this is PNW Gorilla, I think, right? That's the guy. And he was showing off his dual tubes that he got from Matt, and he was basically saying that the quality of the tubes in these was higher. Or no, these were PVS 14s.
PVS 14 Gen 2 Plus.
Yeah, and that the quality of the tubes that he's got are better than the what is it? The LC Harris.
Yeah, this is the Wolf 14. It's absolutely an outstanding piece of gear. Watcher, you used mine. It's just
they're really nice, like really nice.
Solid piece of kit.
I could tell you that looks as good as any PVS 14 I ever saw at active duty. So
when Matt first handed one to me, he was like, "This is a Gen 2, believe it or not." And I looked at him like, "There's no way that's only a Gen 2." He's like, "Yeah, it is." It was pretty legit. By the way, there's some commentary going on about the Mountain Readiness being an unofficial CFC meetup. Well, on that note, and Scott, forgive me, I'm going to get you one of these. I totally forgot to get you one. I'll just ask Willie. Signed bottle by Willie from Willie's Distilling. I will bring this one. It's not the one that's got my name or Matt's name on it, but I will bring this one to Mountain Readiness, and we will all share it. It says Rangers lead the way, De Presso la Bière. Cool stuff. But I totally forgot to get you one, Scott, and I will make sure I fix that.
Yeah, I would love that. That would be very cool.
And Watcher too.
Well, but Watcher doesn't drink.
Oh, Watcher's the one who bought the first bottle of Devil's Brigade into my presence.
Of course.
You know,
got to deliver it. By the way, I've got a sign for you too. Actually, I forgot to mention that. I know that you know the guy now, so it doesn't matter as much. But before you knew that guy, one of the distillery reps came by the local liquor store, and a buddy of mine told me that they were here, and I got you that bottle, and I forgot to bring it to you, but I got a tin sign as well.
Oh, nice. No, he was. I had dinner with him, and just an outstanding dude. So.
Yeah, I think this is right. I think it's actually Matt's new Kyber Optics Gen 2 PVS 14. Same tubes as the Wolf 14.
On that note, I posted a link yesterday to the LVPO that I told you all was coming out, and it is out 1 to 10.
And it's flying off the shelves.
Yeah, it's legit.
I posted the GIF, and it's gone, because he was talking about those. I tell you, I had a chit chat with Matt about some of the things that are coming down the pike as far as his optics goes. And let me tell you guys, you're not going to get a better deal for value for money than the optics that Matt's going to be providing. And so when you see it, you'll believe it. But let me just tell you, and I don't want to trust me, this is quality stuff.
I will say that he really does take on the responsibility of making the working man's gear at a price the working man can't afford pretty seriously.
So definitely, if you're interested in any of the types of optics, and I know he has other types of optics that he's looking at bringing out, definitely give his line a look. Kyber Optics. There's some pretty good stuff there. And like I said, value for money wise, I don't know that you're going to find anything better. Have I put hands on yet? No, I haven't. That being said, the people who have that I've, to include Joe, I absolutely trust their word, and everybody's raving to me about these. Hell, Matt's like, listen, I'm going to put these things on my guns because this is better than some of the more expensive shit that I have.
Yeah. Hey, before we continue on, I have to share this video from the Livonia Police Department. Okay. Because it's epic. Okay. So, Washer, if you could put this up, I will hit play. All right. This is a tire grappler device. It's a stolen car.
Oh yeah, these are great.
Wait until the guy tries to get away. So it grabs the tire. He slows down the patrol unit, stopping the car. This is going to get good here.
Do we have a little live ballistic gel test? Meat gel test?
No, but watch this. Wait.
Pull the wheel off.
The state trooper knows what's about to happen.
He's trying to defeat the device. Yeah, those are single-use nylon straps. If I remember correctly, they're rated for like 12 tons or something.
Yeah, it's like 25,000 pounds.
Oh,
you're not breaking that. Oh, bye, Axel.
Yeah, you didn't need that.
Yeah, that did not work out well.
Suspect is stopped.
Can you imagine calling the victim? We've got good news and bad news. The good news is we recovered your car. The bad news is it's in 2 pieces.
Yeah. You're gonna have a hell of a deductible on this one. Yeah, well-armed Corgi got one of those LP videos. All right, let's I got a couple of super chats here I want to get through. Phil Coggins, member for 36 months. By the way, appreciate all you guys who are members both here and over on Rumble. On YouTube, if you join, you get a free member chat like this. It's basically like a $5 free super chat every month. So if you are a member and you haven't used yours in a while, jump in there and use your member chat. It's free. And we read them all just like the super chats. Phil Coggins says, "Good morning, all. We'll be on the replay, gang, as I'm in Virginia or at the VA, Virginia, seeing about my hip replacement. Man, let's have a great show. Yeah. We hope that hip replacement goes better. Here's the thing I hear about hip replacements: everybody who gets them is massively relieved once they get it, and they're really quite shocked by both the scale of. I mean, it's a big fucking surgery. You're way cut open. They're like lopping off giant pieces of bone and stuff. They replace it with titanium. They sew you back up, and you're fucking walking around within the week. I mean, so that's a hell of an operation. But everybody who gets it that I've seen is very happy with it. Lance Corporal Veteran for $5 says, "Yeah, California has a climate location for every season, even winter during summer." Yeah, one of the most interesting weekends of my life was going surfing in Baja on Friday and skiing in Big Bear on Sunday. That was a hell of a weekend. All right, that was back in my ill-begotten youth. And then Peter Chase Helicopters for $2 over in Rumble. Scott, sir, you were Army. Wasn't there something about a Queen of Battle in the Infantryman's Creed? Yeah, something about that. But I think we decided to give the Navy the Queens of Battle.
They've earned it. They've earned it since then.
Yeah, Loki LARP gifted 5 subs. Thank you very much, brother. We appreciate your support of the channel. The sad thing is I'm like the only person. Yeah, I'm the only person in the chat that doesn't have because it's my channel. I can't be a member, so I don't have the peach color around my name. All right. All right, I think I got all of the stuff there. Let's jump into our first topic, our main topic of the day, the trans death cult. I'm probably not going to read all of these articles because we got a couple different articles. They all kind of hit different things. This article mainly kind of is an overview article. So we'll just kind of hit the top part and then maybe some of the embedded posts. Absolute tragic mass. By the way, this is out. We are officially outside the first 48 hours, but a lot of information has come out in those 48 hours. So I feel okay talking about this. Unfolded. I don't feel okay talking about this, but you know. Absolutely tragic mass shooting unfolded at a Catholic school in Minneapolis, leaving an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old dead in the pews and injuring 17 others. Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara told reporters that the shooter took his own life near the Annunciation Catholic Church. Children are dead. There are families that have a deceased child. You cannot put this into words, the gravity, tragedy, and absolute pain of the situation. That's Mayor Jacob Frey of Minneapolis said. And then let's see, Minneapolis school gunman ID'd.
I have to interject. Jacob Frey made some absolutely ludicrous and ridiculous statements shortly thereafter.
Yeah.
Saying that the bigger tragedy is how people are going to react to trans people.
I'd go so far as to call it a hate rant.
What an absolute.
Oh yeah. We're gonna play that video later. I want people to see that because they need to know who are representing them.
Yeah.
Let's see. Is ID'd as Robert Westman.
Yeah, I was saying that is fake news. It is not ID'd as Robin. It is ID'd as Robert.
That may be this person's legal name. This man is named. Who was born Robert Westman. This is his delusion. And the people who supported his delusion, like his parents, evidently, are the ones that helped him have this happen. While possible, manifesto shows psychotic obsession with mass shooters.
Let me say this: a little shameless self promotion here. If you are a member on my locals page, you learned about that long before everybody else did. You learned about it almost immediately after the shooting. So follow my locals page. Carry on.
Kill Donald Trump, rip and tear. This is what his magazine that you were just looking at there said. And by the way, that's one of those like 60 rounders, isn't it?
It is a 60 rounder. I'd like to point out that this is the third mass shooter who has used the white paint pens to decorate their rifle, and in a similar fashion. There's something there to that. Anyway, carry on.
Let's see. The video, one screenshot for the video showed a semi-automatic rifle and a shotgun with text on the magazines that says "Kill Donald Trump." Yep. I wonder how this guy feels. Betty Johnson confirmed the Minneapolis Catholic Church is Robert Westman, a transgender who identified as a woman and legally changed his name from Robert in 2020.
I know we could be here all day, but I want to point out another interesting one of those, triple similarities. It's the third one of these mass shooters to have taken basically who is the largest conservative YouTuber at the time of their shooting and done a little shout out to them during their shooting specifically.
That's true.
The Christchurch shooter pointed out PewDiePie, and this was before the culture war happened, so that wasn't necessarily highlighted at the time, other than PewDiePie deciding to end his career over it. The guy who tried to take out Trump was wearing a Demolition Ranch shirt. Again, Demolition Ranch decided to end his career over that. And Brandon Herrera has so far decided to just say, F this dude. I had nothing to do with him.
Yeah, he was a little taken up by it, but I was like, yeah, dude, just keep rolling, man. Keep rolling.
I hadn't heard that the what's his name, the Demolition Ranch guy shut down because of that.
Well, I mean, he stopped doing videos literally like that was he released a video I think like 2 weeks prior to that, and then nothing ever came out again.
Yeah, I think that guy was dealing with other things too, but I think that probably was the straw that broke the camel's back. Yeah.
I agree.
I would challenge you to put a photo of Adam Lanza next to this guy, and then tell me physiognomy is not a thing.
Oh, I know. And then YouTube wiped the entire account of Robin W., who many are alleged thinks was Robin Westman or Robert Westman. the alleged Minnesota.
Ironically, it didn't violate the community guidelines until after he killed people.
Funny how that works.
Funny how that works.
Some big name X accounts posted what they believe are screenshots from the video. So you got Donald Trump Jr. say, so you're telling me it will be out of the news in a few seconds.
I just have to say, anybody who came across that video and didn't immediately go to a downloader knowing that it would be removed is an idiot. I'm just saying, if you got there and you saw it, because
I'm glad I'm not the only person who thought this. I feel I don't feel nearly as bad.
Wow. Yeah, you're
Yeah, pull up a picture of it. Can you do a side by side?
Yeah. Give me a minute.
Yes, that is uncanny. Going down, let's see. Multiple videos on social media. He clearly hated Christians. Where's your God? One of the magazines said. Let's see. The suspected shooter in today's, has several. Let's look at some of these magazines.
Let me point out something by Big and 599. What's crazy is the same government wants to take your guns. Actually, added the term non-binary to the section of the 4473. By the way, if you have any condition listed in the DSM, you're not eligible to buy a firearm. Transgenderism used to be in the DSM. So
tell me this is not the same picture.
Stop
Watcher, you gotta post that up on X right now. I've not seen anybody post this yet, so you'd be the first.
Right down to the hair too, right?
I know, right? It's almost like it's a cosplay. All right. The 3-letter boys have a type.
Okay, let's go back to what we were doing.
All right. Sorry, I saw it all there together, and it just got me excited for Watcher. That'll be Watcher's next 100,000K view X post. Well-armed corgi, member for 41 months. Man, that is a long time. Thank you very much, well-armed corgi. I'm absolutely sick of these people killing our children and trying to use their acts of terrorism as a pretext for the goal to disarm us enough. Yeah, so we're gonna get into that. I want to talk about this cult first before we talk about the cult of of authoritarianism that always pops up after these. Donald Trump says, I've been fully briefed on the tragic shooting in Minneapolis. The FBI quickly responded and they are on the scene. The White House will continue to monitor this terrible situation. Please join me in praying for everyone. The interesting thing is the only thing more kind of attacked than guns was prayer in this. And I don't understand that. I don't understand why they hate it when especially when it's a fucking church that gets shot when we're saying pray for these people. Oh, hope prayer's not going to do anything for you. You need to ban guns,
Yeah, it's absolutely ludicrous. I will just tell you that there is an answer, and it's right here.
Yeah.
Resistance to evil by force. Ivan Ilyin. Anywho.
Let's talk about the mindset of these people. Now, Watcher, I'm going to read this article, but essentially the thread that is posted just below it. Okay, see the thread on the shooter there?
Hold on.
This thread is going to relate directly to what I'm going to read, so you can just look at that thread while I go through this article, because this is BX's. This is that gal. She's I don't know. I like a lot of her posts, so I don't know what the problem with her is.
Well, a lot of people just don't like her. She's a former gun model, but yeah, she puts out great information. So
yeah, so she's kind of a pick me. I get that, but I learned that term from my daughter, pick me girl. I thought that was funny. Yeah. Anyway, she kind of is that, but there's some really kind of some key stuff that she talks about in here. A Buffalo mass shooter's connection to satanic online communities. Now, this is about another shooter, but this is she wrote this back in 2024, but I think it's very kind of connected. Let's see. Antisocial white
the
kid.
Buffalo mass shooter is one who also wrote on his rifle with a white paint.
Right. And so I think that's where a lot of this Order of the Nine Angels kind of stuff comes in, and all that kind of stuff.
Angles, not angels.
Angles, thank you. Yeah. I always said my brain just transposes the letters, but let's see. Antisocial white. So this is in 2022. Antisocial white kid from an upper middle class New York neighborhood donned body armor and a military helmet, picked up an AR-15 and covered in racial epithets, and strapped a GoPro to his head and drove about 200 miles to predominantly black neighborhood in Buffalo, New York. Once there, he pulled up to Tops Grocery, hit go live on Twitch streaming app moments before unleashing a devastating attack against shoppers. The resulting live stream video looked like something straight out of a Call of Duty video game. A third-person view of a rifle firing at people as they fell lifelessly to the ground. Joe, I remember we talked about this when it happened. I mean, and we called this for what it was back then. He targeted black people, and at one point in the video, he aimed his gun at a person, saw they were white, and muttered sorry before leaving the person alive and continuing his rampage. 10 lives were tragically lost that day. He was apprehended by police at the scene and ultimately pled guilty to state charges, which included first-degree murder, domestic terrorism, and hate crimes. This is fucking terrorism. He was handed.
And he wrote the things on his weapon backwards, so that on the camera they would be clearly show it.
Yeah, that's a great point there. And while the prosecutors insisted the shooting was an open shut case of racially motivated violent extremism, many questions left unanswered. So kind of going back to the Christchurch shooter, he had a lot of these neo-fascist ideologies reminiscent of the Christchurch shooter in New Zealand. Great replacement theory. And to top it off, early reports on the shooting mentioned that several people had joined Gendron's Discord server about 30 minutes before the shooting began. One of those individuals was said to be a retired FBI agent. Now details have been released that shine fresh light on the already memory-hold shooting. A DHS press release from June 2024 announced the arrest. Now, remember, she wrote this all during the Biden era, so none of this has been affected by the Trump era releases. Announced the arrest of an individual named Hayden Hispania in charges facilitating criminal enterprise, illegal gun sales via Telegram. His channel, which ran while sitting in prison for an unrelated matter, was frequently visited by Gendron. This is our first window into the FBI's investigation of Gendron's network in over 2 years since the tragedy unfolded. Additionally, new details have emerged confirming previous suspicions that Gendron was connected to CVLT, that's using the V like the Romans did for the U, satanic extortion and child exploitation ring, which was a predecessor to the 764 cult. These new revelations raise even more questions than they answer. However, the overall picture has started to become much clearer. So what was Gendron's connection to these satanic pedophile networks, and how did this ordinary young man from the suburbs become radicalized enough to commit such a horrible act? Why was there a retired Fed in the Discord server, and who is Saint Sandman? Let's see. Familiar path to...
Retired in quotes.
What? Say that again?
She should have put
retired. Yeah.
Quotes. Yeah.
Right. All right. So path to one notable detail of Gendron disclosed by his family after the shooting is he has began to exhibit extremely hypochondriac and agoraphoric tendencies in the wake of COVID-19 pandemic. He wore a gas mask everywhere, even his own bedroom, and once wore a full hazmat suit to his high school. He was the first in line to get vaccinated. More importantly, however, was the way Gendron withdrew from family and friends. He retreated to his room and began to spend most of his time online. Gendron began visiting the website 4chan out of boredom around May 2020. In his Discord diary, he wrote, "I only really turned racist when 4chan started giving me facts In his manifesto, Gendron writes about stumbling upon the live stream video of the Christchurch, New Zealand mass shooter and spiraling down a familiar radicalization path to online extremist communities and domestic terrorism. Neo-Nazis, white supremacists, and various other commingle in the space, and the glue that holds these extremists together is a concept called accelerationism. Accelerationism is not an ideology, but a doctrine, a collection of theory-backed tactics designed to accelerate the collapse of Western society and political structure by various means. This concept, Joe, is not something we talk about enough, because this is the kind of thing that can literally affect the loved ones of people in the chat and other folks that we could know, right? That could literally go from a little odd to somebody who is completely radicalized and willing to support or even commit one of these acts.
And accelerationism is something that is on the right, the left, the middle. There are people all around.
It's agnostic.
And I want to point out a comment by Jay Clark that raises a very interesting point. That same retired Fed was in the Discord with the Uvalde shooter.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Interesting. What's funny is when we see all these different cases of these people, there's some online persona that they have met or interacted with that nobody else in their circle of friends knows or has met. And that, to me, that always indicates the Bourne legacy point, right? That they wind these people up, point them at a target, and then set them off. So,
let's see. I'm sorry, that's not the one I wanted to show. Greetings from England. I hope you can hang around and wait for our segment on. We're going to be talking about your beleaguered country here soon. Sorry to say so, but the Englishmen need to get off the pot.
Yes, government, and it is helter-skelter crap. I would say they were probably the original accelerationists, right?
Well, almost all of these kind of apocalyptic death cults had, various aspects of accelerationism in there. Just, it's all part of the same thing.
Hey, listen, don't be so sure. The last guy had a PSA. So,
all right. Given what we already know about the nature of online spaces Gendron inhabited, it's easy to deduce that his immediate proximity to accelerist domestic terrorist groups on platforms like Discord and Telegram, such spaces as 4chan and other similar websites to funnel to gain large user bases, which then fester into echo chambers of hate. And yet, out of, say, 1,000 members on a large white nationalist Telegram channel, only one or two will end up making major headlines. Young and neurodivergent men. I'm not a big fan of that term, neurodivergent, but you just call them crazy. Young, crazy men like the extremely neurotic and hypochondriac Gendron make the perfect prey for sinister individuals looking to groom people into committing terror acts.
I would like someone to define to me large white nationalist Telegram account, because the way I hear that is federal operation. That's what I hear when I hear those words.
Yeah. It may not even be a federal operation. It could be, say, like a WEF backed, like a globalist operation, a private, NGO that wants to create trouble within the U.S. It could be a CCP backed.
Tomato, potato. I mean,
right. These are all people who hate us and want us to destroy ourselves. And no matter who signs the checks, if somebody's doing it from the outside, you have to be aware. Let's see. These are she gives some quotes of people in the chats. Starting in 2020, Gendron began to exhibit signs of mental health crisis. He was investigated by the police for threats made to students in his high school, ultimately resulting in a referral to a hospital for a mental health evaluation. He was released only after one day due to his insistence that the threats were simply jokes. Gendron then admitted to a social media post that he was bluffing, and he had meant, and he had meant every word. Also around the time, Gendron was noted to be a member of Discord servers, which primarily discuss weapons and tactical related topics. Gendron made at least 80 posts in a server called Plateland, while Unicorn Riot provides a link to download the post that made by Gendron. The remainder of the Plateland Discord logs appear to have been removed from their site, making it impossible to determine the identity of the other users he was conversing with. Funny how that happens. Gendron began using a private Discord server to document his plans along with his interactions with Saint Sandman. In November of 2021, he originally planned to unleash his attack on March 15th, the anniversary of the day the Brenton Tarrant murdered 50 people and injured 50 others at a mosque in Christchurch, New Zealand. Ironically, Gendron couldn't carry out the attack as he had planned because he caught COVID-19, despite his paranoia. The identity of St. Salmon is, in my humble opinion, the most important piece of the information we can hope to glean from this investigation. After all, Gendron was just a proxy soldier, a Manchurian candidate of sorts, targeted due to his unique psychological vulnerabilities. His programmer is presumably still on the loose. How long before he finds another proxy soldier to commit another attack? Perhaps the next attack will echo Rob Elliott. So that's where you start to see, when you see some similarities, it's easy just to say, oh, well, this guy that shot, or this Robert guy who just shot up this Minnesota church, he followed a lot of these other mass shooters and he's copying them. Well, maybe he's also got somebody whispering in his ear in the, kind of, hey, you should do this.
Look, I've been saying it. Look, I'm sorry. I've been saying it for years. I believe the government had an early version of an LLM that they released to do exactly this, to pose as anybody they needed it to pose as. I believe it's still out there. It's still operating. I also believe they have one that they try and use to cause people to self-harm rather than harm others.
I don't think that's not the craziest thing I've heard just even today.
Learning language model, Marlene, like Grok or GPT-4.
Yeah. These are all LLMs. It's it's just the type of AI model. Let's see. I'm trying to find some of the other. So long before we had any evidence linking Gendron to COM, rumors of his involvement with a group called Cult swirled throughout the network. Closely linked to 764, Cult was a Satanism-based group that engaged in the extortion and sexual abuse of children. 21-year-old Caleb Merritt was arrested and later sentenced to life in prison for grooming, sexually exploiting, and eventually kidnapping a 12-year-old girl from Virginia, who he found on Instagram and then pulled into a cult Discord server. Merritt groomed the young girl and manipulated her into carving the number 764 onto her chest. In February of 2021, Merritt drove from his home to Texas to the victim's home in Virginia, where he set up a camp in the woods behind the girl's house and repeatedly raped her prior to abducting her. An Amber Alert was issued, and the police were able to capture Merritt and bring the girl back home safely. Let's see. Merritt is believed to be the owner of an Instagram account called o9a.evil, validating his belief that many researchers of that child predator group, like 764 and Cult, are closely linked to the satanic neo-Nazi terror organization Order of the Nine Angles. Other high-profile members of 764, Angel Almadea was also linked to O9A, and their logo had their logo tattooed onto his chest. O9A is a satanic accelerationist group that adheres to a National Socialist ideology. It's basically Nazi Satanists. Its members are insidious and permeate.
And I repeat myself. Anyway.
Yeah. Caleb Merritt's young victims was the first credible link Gendron to the group. She stated he used the name Nexum in a cult Discord server. This information was later confirmed by police to a major media outlet who is in the process of making a documentary on 764. As explosive as this confirmation is, it's still relatively...
Stop. Scroll back up to that photo. I have to do this. It's a white supremacist neo-Nazi organization that has a member named Angel Alameda. And anyway, carry on.
Yeah, and he's not the only like Hispanic that I've seen that's been involved in the 09A. Because the 09A was a problem in the military back in the late 2000s, early 2010s. And by problem I mean like they identified like 5 people in the military that were in these discords that were doing this.
Mm-hmm.
For example, he described chasing around a cat before catching it and decapitating it, cult and other related. So a lot of this stuff is kind of like people like LARPing satanic panic kind of stuff from the 80s, but mixing it with neo-Nazi ideology to just almost to like go full edgelord, right? It's like,
I mean, why do they call themselves Hydra? I mean,
right. Let's see. The violence, extreme-centric online environments Gendron inhabits, combined with his spiraling mental state, created the perfect storm of white nationalist associates that would dub the Day of Terror. They memorialized Gendron by giving him the title Saint, a term commonly used by these groups to describe someone who's committed mass murder to further their accelerationist agenda.
Can references I for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
This is very interesting and all, but can we get to the one that happened recently? Because I do have to go shortly. Can we get to the one that happened this year, not the one from last year?
Well, so this kind of gets to a lot of the details that haven't been able to come out yet on this, because we are still in that kind of that early, the early kind of time on this one. I'm going to go ahead and go to the post-millennial article watcher, because this one aligns this recent shooting to some of the other previous trans terror incidents. By the way, we had another trans terror shooting, right? Like, was it like just yesterday, or was it
yesterday?
Yesterday. So, two in 1 week. We're so lucky. These people are all the mass shootings committed by trans people in the U.S. So they've got these 5 here, and then there's been another. These are not the only ones. These are just the kind of the top of the line. You get all their baseball cards in one location. So the most recent one is Robert Westman, and specifically targeted a Catholic church and the children. If I remember correctly, the second one there, Audrey or Aiden Hale, in 2023, also targeted children at a religious school, killing 3 students and 3 staff before the police shot Hale dead. Pages of writing released in the wake of the shooting detailed Hale discussing imaginary penis and needing to see a trans doctor. The female gender role makes me want to not exist. Now, was this one? Audrey was she was a girl and then transitioned to a guy, right? That was her imagination thought she was a guy, right? So it was an actual woman who did this.
Mm-hmm.
Most of these are all men, by the way, except for that one. Then you had Anderson Lee Aldrich in 2022. Killed 5 people and 4 of the others at the Q Club in Colorado Springs, LGBTQ nightclub. He was sentenced to life in prison. Then we've got, and here's the interesting thing. Like the guy we were talking about previously, he's not a trans, but he was absolutely sucked into the same kind of degenerate ideology that a lot of these people find themselves. I believe both. I think what was it, Hale and it looks like Westman both are kind of fall into that same type of mold. Let's look at some of the other posts we have here. I'm going to open that thread from the shooter. I know you kind of thumbed through it already. I want to see if there's anything. Westman left behind a video manifesto on his YouTube channel, but otherwise had a very minimal online footprint. Oddly, people are trying to make the jump to associate him with the 7.64 and 09A stuff. Let's see. So like the previous shooter, we had the "Where's Your God?" Get clapped. These are some of the things on the magazine. Kill Israel, kill Hamas, kill Trump. Release the Epstein files. Let's see. A few things immediately stood out. Numerous references to Satanism and hating Christianity. A few references to Samantha Rupnow. She was the Madison school shooter. Manifesto written mostly nonsensically in Cyrillic.
That's not true. I made this point on my locals and in some discussions that some of us had in there. It was actually written in classical Russian. It appears to have been written by a native speaker because the conjugation of the verbs in Cyrillic was done correctly. Cyrillic is not actually a written language. It's a collection of sounds converted into symbols. So the ability to actually write it conjugated properly implies a much more involved knowledge of Russian. So it was not nonsense Russian. It actually is it's a pretty well written thing in Russian. So
no obvious references to 7.64. No use of 09A sigils or imagery. No reference to self-harm, grooming, or extortion. No references to terrorgram or use of fast wave aesthetics, and no reliable evidence that he was ideologically driven by neo-Nazism. Just a lot of contradictory trolling. And so that's one of the things that kind of point people back to say that this current shooter was looking at a lot of different shooters, but not necessarily motivated by the exact same ideological stuff. Now, this is all speculation, of course. More will come out, I'm sure. That was the other thing too, Joe, like the Cyrillic writing on the gun and the magazines and things like that was kind of interesting.
I think that it's a little early to make this absolutism determination that he's not involved in this. There's too much crossover for there not to have been some exposure. So
I think she's more just saying specifically because people keep sending her images. Any symbol that they don't understand, they send to her and go, "This is 09A, right? This is all connected, right?" And she's like, "No, here's how this is connected to other things. It's literally like it's not 09A at all.
Yeah,
it's just
that
kind of
symbol
symbolism they use all the time."
That was a reference to Christchurch, not to.
And so that's what she said, is that like so far she has seen no references that they have shared to 09A.
Yeah, and so we've got, like, if you go down to the fourth post on this, interpreting snowballing continued with people incorrectly interpreting Bobby Carmino's Awake the Rapper logo as an 09A symbol. Yes, there are other obscure and completely irrelevant groups that have used similar logos, but none of them make as much sense as the one connected to another mass shooter. And this is her kind of frequently asked questions. Are you sure there weren't any direct references to 7.64 and 09A? Yes, there were. No one has proven otherwise. Is there a possibility that he's connected to 7.64 and 09A via an account we haven't seen yet? And she says, yeah, it totally is. My assessment is only based on the available facts, which is probably the right way to go.
Right.
Let's see. Yeah. So anyway, I thought this was some decent early analysis. There's not a lot of information, and a lot of stuff will come out in the days and weeks ahead. But kind of like what you said, Joe, just because there's no evidence doesn't mean it wasn't there.
Correct.
And that this guy didn't have a Saint Sandman whispering in his ear, kind of egging him on to do some of this stuff.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help that we have people like this, this Nebraska senator. you got to play it with the sound, because otherwise you don't see how absolutely insane these people are.
There's a lot of talk going on in the chat right now too, though, about the mother. The mom has gotten a defense attorney, and the mom probably has some culpability in enabling the trans behavior. However, I wouldn't read too much into the attorney thing, because remember, the parents in the Lake Orion shooting were charged with the shooting, even though they weren't involved in the shooting, because of their enabling behavior. So the mom is probably just being smart. Wait and see on the mom. So, like Lorna points out, we shouldn't be celebrating the FBI overstepping their authority and trampling the Constitution to go after people for crimes they didn't specifically commit.
Right. All right, and then I'll play this, but then I got to go after this video, boss.
Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people.
All right, that's enough.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, this is just absolutely. I mean, this just goes to show just the level of just bat shit crazy these people are. We've got Trans Day of Vengeance. Stop trans genocide. Trans Day of Vengeance.
This was posted right after the shooting, by the way, within hours of the shooting.
Right. Guess who's killing trans people? Trans people.
That's right. 40% of all trans people are killed by trans people. And then go to the next one. I mean, this is all stuff that kind of came out before, during, and continues to come out after. And it aligns with one of a sticker on the journal here. Socialist Rifle Association is a far left militia group that trains transgender and Antifa-linked radicals to kill. The Minnesota chapter uses the same symbol that the Minneapolis trans shooter did on their manifesto, journaling detailed death before detransition.
I would like to know what equality they think they have. They're actually treated better than the average citizen, right? They have more rights than you or I.
Well, the thing that, Joe, the thing that is crazier still is how we clearly have a problem with violent trans people, and yet let's forget about the trans people part and let's just go after the guns, right? People are suggesting that we go full Australia after a shooting like this, saying that's the only way you can protect these kids. Really? We protect our banks with money. Why don't we protect our children with guns? We protect our money with guns. Why not our children?
Completely agreed. Hey, boss, I got to dip out on you. Sorry.
All right, we'll see you.
See ya.
And I'll go as long as you can go, Joe. All right. Have we talked about trans people enough? Have we talked about the trans genocide? Because let me just kind of go through a couple of the other topics that I've seen pop up. And Bobby Kennedy has basically said, or I'm sorry, not Bobby Kennedy, but what is it? Is RFK Jr., right?
Bobby Kennedy Jr.
Draws a direct connection between violence and homicidal ideation and psychiatric prescription drugs. One of the culprits we need to examine, whether the fact that we have the most over-medicated nation in the world. I think this is spot on. We basically have got so many people on SSRIs. You can't not potentially link them to some of this, some of the things that are, and it's not just the shootings, right? It's like other problems. I mean, Joe, in your security work, I would imagine SSRIs is kind of like a red flag when you're doing background checks on people.
Yeah, and actually we do a threat assessment. Have they been prescribed SSRIs or anything like that? Selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors are a bad thing. So.
Yeah. Let's see. Let me go on. All right, let's talk about England. Joe, I think we've seen. You guys talked about it a little bit on Yeah, actually, real quick, just kind of give an overview of what you guys talked about on Wednesday, because I wasn't here, but I don't want to cover ground that you guys covered.
We really just talked about the government enabling of the situation, of the grooming and of the illegal immigration thing, that the outrage caused by Maya of Scotland actually caused Keir Starmer to blink. And he has since put out several tweets reversing his position on immigration and vowing to enforce immigration law. But we'll see what his actions actually say. If you notice, over the last 72 hours, his online presence is entirely different from what it had been. And I think it's because of the power of social media and the real news getting out. It's becoming harder and harder for them to hide the immigrant crime. They had been doing it by not releasing last names. But when everyone's first name in all of the court dockets is Omar or Mohammed, it becomes somewhat apparent. And this one incident being so widely publicized, and the police's absolutely ludicrous response to the incident by arresting the girl, is something they couldn't hide any longer. And I think that it's very telling, too, that the police service in that area blinked also and released the girl and then arrested the guy who did the filming. So it's pretty interesting. I think that's about as far as we got.
All right. So what's been really great, is to see the support that girl's gotten on X that I've seen. I mean, I don't really go in any other social media outlets. So I mean, like what was it, yesterday or maybe day before yesterday? Like my feed was literally 50% like memes of her, and there were some really fire ones. You guys used a really great one for the thumbnail. That's what I'm here for. I mean, people need symbols, and she was a hell of a symbol, and I think one that won't fade away too quickly. So it seems that the English people are starting to get some of their pride back, right? They're tired of seeing this kind of essentially anti-English sentimentality, just being pressed on them. So that's been very hurtful to see. I've got an article here. I guess I have to share it since our good friend Watcher is not here. Let me resize it here for a second. There we go. All right, here we go. Let's see. UK's newest crisis: too many patriotic Britons. That's a hell of a crisis to have. On top of growing Islamification and accompanying anti-Semitism, decaying national defense, poverty-ridden net zero policies, and the ruination of Doctor Who, and a whole host of other issues, Britain has yet another crisis that the government just can't seem to get a handle of. Britons who still love their country and want to turn it around. Can you even imagine the nerve? You might have already seen this last week or two. Britain's defiantly flying the UK Union Jack or England's St. George Cross, only to have officials who seem to have no problem with displays of Palestinian or Pakistani pride take them down. In fact, those displays sometimes come with a government seal of approval. This one in Birmingham City Council. So you've got the Pakistani. Tonight, we'll be lighting the library Birmingham green and white in mark of the eve of the 77th anniversary of Pakistan's Independence Day. The country's Foreign and Commonwealth Development Office got in on the action, too, wishing a very happy Independence Day to Pakistanis in the UK and Pakistan and around the world. The post of X includes little emojis of the Pakistan and British flags, and you guess it, without clicking through which one came first. Flag order makes us. Let's see. Here we go. We got I'm always here for a Tommy Robinson X post.
Oh, yeah.
So let's let us do this here and then this here. All right. Absolute state of this clown going around with ladders, taking down England flags. Says putting up the St. George's Cross in England is fascism. Let's see if I can get this to play.
It's all right. Police have already been informed. Yeah.
Oi, ladies and gentlemen, this mug, right, is going around, right? Look at him, make this prick famous, right? Look at him.
Guys.
You're fishing over a lab.
Exactly. What's the matter with you?
No, don't do it, don't do
What's
it,
the matter
don't
with
do
you?
it. The kid's a fool, mate.
What's
He's
the
an
matter with
absolute
you?
fool.
Geezer, police have already been called.
Geezer,
Geezer, you're a mug.
Go on.
Go on.
Guys, look.
Being a member of the military doesn't necessarily.
Oh, do you know what? Being a fucking tenant. I'm not being.
You know, you gotta love just British, like, you know, like lad slang is pretty next level.
Yeah. Durna points out he's wearing England colors on his shirt, so
well, it's an Arsenal. Isn't that an Arsenal?
jersey. Yeah.
We've just been out all night doing this.
I'm not being annoyed.
Mate, because you've been spoon-fed your shit.
No.
Crack on.
Oh, literally. Crack on, mate.
You're mentally ill, mate. You're mentally ill.
I'm not, mate.
You are.
I'm
You're
not.
mentally ill.
I'm not.
Look at you.
I'm genuinely.
Look at you. You're mentally ill.
Genuinely not.
He's got crazy eyes.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've got a sound.
You
head on me,
are.
mate. I understand
You
what you're talking
are.
about. I understand
you
what's
are,
going on
mate.
in this
You
country.
are. You are.
I fully understand.
Oh, mate. Yeah, you are. You're a bit of a left hard. It's okay. It's okay.
Bit of a left hard. Anyway, like I said, I'm here for a good.
It's fascist. No, it isn't.
It's a sickness.
No, see,
It's a sickness.
This idea of
It's a
you saying that
sickness.
word thinking it's going to do anything.
It's a sickness.
It means nothing.
It's a sickness.
Honestly,
It's a sickness.
it's not worth your time.
So why don't you
worth it,
take
mate.
yourself
It means
home
nothing.
and get yourself into bed, mate? Yeah?
Because I'm quite happy doing what I'm doing.
What you're doing is you're destroying the effort of what you've done all night.
Come on. We all understand. I understand what you've done all night.
Yeah. So why
The
don't you?
police understand what
I
you've
don't
done.
give a shit.
They literally know it's a far right movement. That's
No,
the whole
we ain't a
thing.
far-right movement.
It's
Joe, you know what's so funny is how quickly the Europeans, not just the British, but the Europeans will throw around this idea of far right.
Look at the veins in his neck as he says far right.
Well, but the crazy thing is like far right in Europe only means like nationalistic, and we call that patriotism, and it's, you know, it's almost expected here in America. You know, like the things that we go for on the far right in America are like would just make like most of these far right guys in England blush, you know, like, you know, Second Amendment absolutism, you know, like we don't take, you know, we call out tyranny when we see it. We absolutely actually think that our government should follow the fucking rules that they've established for themselves. I mean, heaven forbid. The UK, by the way, just to remind you, and AKA Frank Noble, I apologize. The UK doesn't even have a constitution. The closest thing you have to a constitution is custom, and it's the Magna Carta. But that's about it. So, I mean.
All right, I got to roll. I have a class to teach. So,
all right, brother.
Sorry,
it was good. We got a little of the England stuff in there. I just wanted to kind of cover that. Make sure you guys are aware that, you know, despite the fact that they're not fighting the way we would love them to fight, they don't have quite the toolkit that we have to be able to, you know, resist tyranny here in America. I think they're doing what they are doing. They're doing what they can. And when little girls have to carry hatchets to protect themselves in the street, you know, it's a bad day. So, Joe, thank you very much. Hey, looking into the weekend, what's your kind of what's your prediction?
I'm not even sure this weekend. I think that we're going to see something come to a head with this Russian sub situation. That's important. Continue to watch Venezuela. There's a massive U.S. buildup for some reason. We've now added a cruiser and a submarine to the mix. The potential for an accidental conflict is high. And then you also have China rattling the saber in the South China Sea again. So the world's not getting any better.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting to see what could happen with Venezuela. I know you guys covered that on Wednesday. You know, there's just it's one of those kind of things it's kind of creeping up on us, right? Nobody's really talking about it, but there's a significant amount of steel off the coast of Venezuela, and all it takes is little miscalculation, and you never know where it can go. All right, Joe, I appreciate it. Hey, chat, you guys were awesome. Let me make sure. I think I got a couple of super chats. If you want to go ahead and pop smoke, Joe, go ahead. I'm gonna I'm gonna do these super chats here. Let's see. Lance Corporal Veteran, they're always promoting anti-life, pro-death, ending it all, inciting conflict. Yeah, I mean, they're so consistent about life being something that they don't value. Who remembers TV shows about this topic? Yeah, movies and TV shows about this topic. Which topic was it? I can't remember. Lance Corporal Veteran again for $5. It's odd that until 10 years ago, for decades, violent trannies were a known factor amongst mass murderers, rapists, and cannibalistic. Yeah. If you look at famous serial killers, there is a not 0% of them that have cross-dressing at least tendencies, and probably would have gone more if they'd been so affirmed, like these trannies have been in recent years. Guy Vermectin, $2. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. Let's see. Let me look at Hunch Dirty Roofer for $5 over on Rumble. Only 40%. How do we bump those numbers up? We have an untapped market of 60. Yeah, well, somebody suggested that we should put them in special military units, but then it was pointed out that they would have 40% casualties right off the bat. So then maybe that wouldn't work out. Squishy, Scott, are you going to be in North Carolina in October? I will not. I will be in South Korea in October. It's looking like I may not be back to the States until maybe early spring. It's a good thing. It means we're able to go through things in a nice, steady pace versus quick and in a hurry. Let's see. Anything else in the chat? Frank Nobles, I tell you, brother, I don't envy you guys the situation you're in. All right, guys, that's all I got for today. Thank you for being here. Sorry we couldn't go the full 2 hours. I know the guys had other things going on. We will be back next week. I will be here for the foreseeable future. Take Fair says, Scott, I need to get you on my show sometime to talk about Door. I would love to. Yeah. By the way, I'll give a little Doorkickers update. So I foolishly made it when Doorkickers 2 went live. I was in the States, and I was not aware that I was going to be leaving the States at the time. Then I get assigned to Korea, and I was like, oh well, I was going to work through fulfillment. That was one of the things that held up fulfillment, is because I didn't have anybody on the ground that could ship things via U.S. mail, because you can't ship those kinds of things through the APO system. And so now, fast forward, I've got Watcher, and Watcher's going to be doing all the mailing and everything. So I said that I was going to sign every book, right? Well, I can't sign every book because Watcher would have to ship them all here, and I would ship them all back, or I would have to fly there and sign them there in person. So what we ended up doing is like a bootleg book plate. So these are like my signature. Like each one of these will get put into the Doorkickers books, and I've got fucking tons of these things, and I've got to finish those. So as soon as this gets done, Watcher will start shipping out the books. So each one of these will go onto a book. It's just like a sticker with a graphic from the. It's not an auto pen. Though Watcher tried to convince me he could make an auto pen with a 3D printer. I was like, no, we're not doing that. Yeah, surprise! This is now a Comicsgate stream. That's right. Anyway, and I feel bad because this has really been a big holdup. Like the whole logistics piece. Like it's one thing when I did the first Doorkickers book, I was able to run the whole thing out of my house, right? And so I was on top of, I was ordering things that came to me. If it wasn't right, I'd send it back or whatever. And the problem though is here, I haven't seen the books outside of the pictures that Watcher took. I haven't seen the books. I haven't seen the posters. I haven't seen any of the stuff yet. But Watcher's got all that stuff. And as soon as he gets this is the last thing. Now, fast forward to Land and Sea. The original predicted month for fulfillment was November. So we're still on target to get it out by, I thought we would be doing Land and Sea by now, honestly. But Watchers had some challenges over the summer that's not my place to get into. And I did not promise to sign like this all of the Land and Sea books. That's something I identified. So Land and Sea will be coming out as soon as we get we're actually in the process of printing Land and Sea right now. So all right, that's all the Comicsgate stuff. And somebody asked me recently, I haven't seen you on a Comicsgate stream in years, are you still Comicsgate? Well, yeah, sure, why not? I mean, I don't really follow those guys too much anymore. I just don't have time. And being up in the cool thing about the Comicsgate streams that I used to watch, like EVS and some of those other guys and the Jack Show, is that I could, the time of day they were on, it was perfect for me to catch when I was in the States. But now that I'm in Korea, just the timing is off. So usually those streams come on while I'm late booked. Yeah. Well, shit happens, brother. That's just the way it is. All right, guys, that's all I got for today. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for supporting the program, whether you're a member or not a member. Just being here has been great for us. Will we have extras for? Yes, absolutely. We'll have extras. I tell you what, if you ordered Land and Sea, hit me up, let me know, and we may be able to work something, and I could ship you a Doorkickers book in the Land and Sea. You just we'll do a PayPal deal to cover the cost of the book. But we won't do any of that until I've shipped out all the Doorkickers backers. Even though they're late, I'm going to present everything directly to those backers first. And Jack Show was great last night. I haven't watched the Jack Show in almost a year now. I used to be a religious Jack Show watcher, but when the whole Yellow Flash thing went, I kind of lost the plot on that whole group. Let's see. Hey Scott, if we did some of the early support, when do you get that stuff? Yeah, as soon as Watcher gets this stuff, he will start shipping Doorkickers. And if you're a supporter of Land and Sea, as soon as he finishes shipping Doorkickers, he will start shipping Land and Sea. Because within about a month from today, we should have all the books in and everything complete for Doorkickers. I mean, for Land and Sea. So, and then Frank Noble's sitting here talking about handgun, 600 joules and 50 cal. All right, guys, that's all I got for today. Thank you very much. Thanks for being here. Appreciate your support. If you haven't done already, please like the channel, subscribe to both YouTube and Rumble. Hit the bell for notifications. Let your folks know that this is has a Power Ranger ripoff. Yeah, I don't know anything about it. I'm not a big fan of the design, so it's not for me. Here's the crazy thing. There are so many Comicsgate books that I like the people, but I wouldn't be interested in their book if I just saw it on the shelf. I'll get it and I'll support them and I'll read it when I get it, but I don't know that I would like it. So yeah. All right, guys, that's all for today. As always, stay safe.